Okay, so I said I'd juxtapose wrapping Christmas presents with my fighting arm, or the Havoc arm, with the bionic arm, my leather one. And I've been working on this harness a lot, and I know some of you guys have followed me know that I did this myself out of necessity. And I've recently got it set up so I could put all the pressure on one side. So I just wanted to show this off. And like little things like the button cover, protecting it from the elements, making it tougher, leather, heat integrated or heat thermoformed foam to protect it, and then a little water repellent. It is all Mexican leather from the south side of San Antonio. I did it myself. Some people have offered to help me, but it's just so much work, and then traveling to be able to, like, for the people who say they want to help me build my prosthetics and stuff like that. I built this just so I could, like, do things with my son and work, and so it was just out of necessity. And so now that I have this set up, maybe I'll take some of you guys up on being able to help me. But yeah, so this is Autobach B Bionic. I do have a what's it called? A Greifer on standby, just in case this gets tricky. But I have my supplies here, and taking a note from like as to Sam Sulik and putting this microphone on my hat. But yeah, so we're just going to. This is way easier with the Bionic than it is with the metal arm, the Havoc arm, just because I can open and close without having to manually do it. So I'll show you guys the process now. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
And I just thought I'd talk about my prosthetic setup as I wrap, because I kind of want to do these in one shot, because people have been asking about my prosthetic setups, and I travel a little bit to help some people with the prosthetics. So I wanted to do what I could to give y'all some pro tips. And this is not just APTs that ask me, this is actual prosthetic teams that have hit me up about both arms. And a lot of people are really curious about this harness, because a lot of people with high amputation have difficulty wearing prosthetics. And so I created this harness to be able to bypass hurting or cutting out the separation of my arm because it's really raw. And but for that weightlifting, if you use a socket, you are going to probably inevitably use a harness that hurts you. But you have to allow you training to have to use a harness. I think people don't know how to shape with harness. Or for you to be able to do harness, working with harness, working with harness, try to get a cool thing when I cut. But it never works for me. Oh, money. So,
Yes, so as I finish this bad boy up, I had targeted muscle reinvasion. And targeted muscle reinnervation is where they grafted my ulnar and medial nerves to my bicep and tricep heads. And I explained this in a video that went viral for somebody else with another arm. But they grafted my ulnar and medial nerves to my bicep and tricep heads. And my bicep, this is easier. Maybe I'll have the opportunity to do with another person, but to do with showing somebody else. Bicep and tricep, right? So whenever I think hand open, my hand opens. And whenever I think hand close, my hand closes. And the elbow I took out of the equation just for sensors and people not being able to build them. My elbow is muscle powered, so that's why it hurts every time I move it forward. But I like that because, like I said was before with the other video with the Havoc arm, they're more durable prosthetics. And when I don't need the elbow to be battery powered, even though I can carry a spare cable. Cables do break. Not on the Havoc arm. The Havoc arm cables last almost a whole year. But that's, proprietary. But so this, I'm pretty fluid, all things considered, because of that targeted muscle reinnervation, and that's something that at the time was very new for arm amputees, and so like just flexing this arm is a flex because this is heavy, and you don't get to see people do this with muscle powered elbows. But what's it called? Lock it. So you had to prove that you were going to use an upper, because that was actually, I was in the Marine Corps whenever I was getting these surgeries. That's the you had to prove. So I was in the hospital for a long time, right? Like I was in and out of the hospital for a year before I could even use a prosthetic, and then when I used a prosthetic, I had to prove that I was going to use a prosthetic to invest enough money in me to justify the expense of the targeted muscle reinnervation, which was that special surgery that helps me just think hand open and close whenever I open and close my prosthetic. And some people that helps with nerve pain, but for prosthetic users specifically, it can actually make nerve pain a little bit worse sometimes because they can't kill off the signals that they would otherwise kill off in like leg amputees nerves. Sometimes whenever they cause pain from neuromas or phantom pain, sometimes surgeons will go in with Botox and kill off those nerves in leg amputees because they don't use those nerves anymore. But with arm amputees, if you choose to use a surgery like that, they can't kill off those nerves anymore. Already because we're already in a very dangerous area as far as arteries go, but they risk killing off your ability to use those nerves for upper extremity prosthetics, advanced upper extremity prosthetics. So a lot of questions were asked about that surgery when I was traveling, but just because this is such a rare situation where somebody can use a prosthetic as fluid as me, and but if you guys followed me, you know that getting prosthetics built has been something that's exhausting, and I'm embarrassed with how hard it is for veterans to get prosthetics, even if we want them, even if we're wounded in combat. People are like, "Oh, are you service connected?" I was like, "Yeah, I was wounded in combat. All my wounds are from combat." And it's just that the VA is terrible, and that's why that metal arm was built, because somebody heard my story and built it for me, and is trying to help other people now. But yeah, if I didn't work for Autobach for a little bit, I probably wouldn't even had this system built. I built this myself, and this is a bad prosthetic. So, whenever I talk about it, like sometimes you feel bad about explaining this prosthetic, in that for other would-be users, you feel like you have to be honest about traumatic amputees and them that a lot of these people that have traumatic amputations, and a traumatic amputation just means that they weren't born that way, that they're probably gonna have a lot of pain whenever they use their prosthetic, because or right now in 2024, because just because like for me, there's this little, you know, you're really dependent on your team, but like leg people have all these liners in between them and their arm. Me, there's this little flimsy piece of north vein that separates me and the carbon fiber. So like every time I bend my elbow, it hurts because I don't have it's straight bone to skin because I didn't have enough muscle to carry my bone. But it's cool talking to prosthetic users who are also combat wounded in the Ukraine because I feel like sometimes with other amputees it seems like I'm complaining about all my injuries, but with people with war injuries, I'm like, oh, you're like my brothers and sisters. You're like right there with me. Pain is your existence, and you have to accept it to be able to like mitigate your disability and also move forward in your life. And so sometimes whenever I talk to people injured stateside who were immediately taken to a hospital and you didn't have to finish a firefight or get CASVAC'd on. People wouldn't land and bleeding out, infections in a canal and being stabilized in Afghanistan, then being moved to surgery centers in Germany, and I didn't have access to skin grafts and stuff like that, and so that's very important for how well people will recover. So when people are injured in the States and there's advanced hospitals with skin graft technology readily available, like their injuries tend to be a lot prettier. And then me, I have like shrapnel burns, spine injury, neck injury, concussion that weren't treated well for weeks, and I'd opened wound for almost 7 months to a year because of how bad the blast wound was. Sometimes you feel bad talking about that with other amputees, but in my visit in the Ukraine, I was like, oh man, I really felt like I could talk to them in a way that they could appreciate, and it did something for me too. It was an emotional visit for me. But yeah, I just wanted to pump out a little bit longer form videos where I could talk, because I think that I just hadn't had the time to like edit and post videos, but I had got the word that people over there were watching my stuff, so I was like, just let me post longer videos for people who are willing to consume them, where I'm just talking about some of the things that I wouldn't post in a 30-second video because my story is too complicated to explain in like a 30-second format. So just a couple horizontal videos, and just for people who work in prosthetics or work with amputees who want to hear a little bit of my situation and learn a little bit about my prosthetic setup and how I use prosthetics for their teams, just because I've been hit up by so many different teams, and I feel bad because I've been doing it for a while unpaid, and it's kind of hard to do that financially, physically, like all the DM, and I'm like, language barriers, and I'm like, just let me post more stuff and talk about it openly. So there's just there's more data points people can reference from my videos before they ask me all these questions that are really like 100 different teams ask me the same question, and I'm like, I'm disabled, I gotta work. Like it's disabled, and when you're upper extremity disability, there's no wheelchair, and like every little thing like texting and stuff like that it wears up how much I can use my arm and take care of my son or feed myself for the day. So I just wanted to start posting here more so people could reference these videos with a little bit more ease than my ability to respond to all the DMs from all these different prosthetic teams all over the world. But thank you so much. This was me wrapping gifts for Christmas with the Targeted Muscle Renovation Hybrid, TMR Hybrid, bionic Autobach elbow. Did not mean to do that. Thank you so much for the support.